Hello and thank you for joining us on the last edition of Journalist Hangout this week. I am Benga Oreshegun. Today on the program, United States raises fresh concerns after Kaduna State abduction, task federal government on stronger action to safeguard Christian communities. Governor Makinde rules out defection to APC, says his visit to President Tinubu was strictly on governance. And later on the show, Governor Abiodun announces plans to inaugurate 20 new roads, says his record of more than 1,600 kilometers of roads across Ogun State beats the achievements of two administrations before him put together. Well, I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, who's joining us via Zoom, and Olayinka Oyegbile will join us later on the show. Journalist Hangout starts right now. Now let's begin the conversation. Many Nigerians were relieved when the United States struck terrorist enclaves in Sokoto State last December with the hope that the security partnership would improve Nigeria's fight against insurgency. However, recent events indicate that the fight is far from over. The United States has called on the federal government to strengthen protection for Christian communities following the abduction of 177 worshippers in Kaduna State. The National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, said the federal government is intensifying security operations in the affected areas to secure the citizens. All right, BKO, let's begin this way. I mean, what do you think prompted the U.S. reaction? And also, what was the core message of the U.S. call?
You know, to the Americans, any attack on a Christian community, on a Christian gathering by bandits must be in continuation of what they see as an existential threat to Christians in Nigeria. I read some of the comments, and sometimes I just ask myself that, is it not the same country, or are they talking about a different country? To them, these attacks are simply acts of terrorism meant to stop Christians from practicing their faith. But banditry is not terrorism. Banditry, as it is practiced in our country, in the far north, is designed simply to make money off the victims. I've talked about a distinction between a terrorist group and a bandit group. The difference is clear. But to the Americans, these attacks are meant to stop Christians from practicing their faith. They are meant to exterminate Christians. This is the way they see it. And coming not long after we were declared a country of concern, and the president of the U.S. declared that there is a desire on the part of some people to wipe out Christians from Nigeria. And according to them, there is even official support for for what they see as an attempt to take out Christians from our country. Now, I've said it again and again. Christianity and Islam is practiced in our country almost equally. Neither of these religions has an overwhelming majority of adherents, not in this country. The Nigerian South is dominated by Christians, while the North is dominated by Muslims. As we have Muslims in a few states of the South in good numbers, we also have Christians in good numbers in some states of the North, states like Gombe, Taraba, Kwara, Benue, Plateau. They are all part of the 19 states of the northern Nigeria, and they have tremendous Christian population. So no religion can wipe out the other in our country. Let's put that one aside. No religion, whether it is Islam or Christianity, can wipe.
Hello, BK, are you there? Okay. All right. While we're waiting for us to reestablish connection with BKO, we have Olayinka Oyegbile joining us. Olayinka, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Right here
It's a pleasure to be here.
So we're looking at the situation in the far north and also the U.S. reaction and the core message. But since this incident happened, 177 Christians, how will you analyze, the response of the government so far since this incident happened?
Well, so far, so good. But one of the first things I would like to mention was that when it was first reported, I watched it live on news where the governor, the police commissioner, and the local government chairman said there was nothing like that. What I would have expected them to do that day was, we have heard and we have not confirmed. But categorically, the three of them said there was nothing like that. And all these things, the governor of Kaduna State has been doing very well, but in this case, he dropped the ball entirely. He should have said, we have heard about it, or we have not heard. But he categorically, the three of them with the local government chairman and the police commissioner denied that it never happened. But be that as it may, with the U.S. reaction,
yes,
I think for now, what the federal government needs to do that is very, very important and crucial. Look, in all these cases, when things happen like this, you sit down and ask yourself, what is going on? There are some people, one, in or outside Nigeria, who want trouble to break out in Nigeria. So when Trump said Christians are being killed, you saw some people who are happy that, yes, Trump is, I'm sorry to say, is not my model of a Christian, if you want to really come to that. But let's leave that aside. When Trump said that, we should also think that even inside or outside Nigeria, there are those who were diametrically opposed to the Muslim ticket, either in APC itself or outside APC. Okay. So the government itself must wake up. There might be some fifth columnists inside.
Some black legs.
Of course, recently, it has been happening, and the newspapers, and there have been speculations that the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, might be dropped, and they have been throwing out some Christian names and all that. Either some interested party inside the ruling party itself. So the government at the federal level must also take extra care.
So if I get you well, all of these attacks could be politically motivated?
I may be wrong, but you see, in all these things, you must also think ahead of
reading between the lines.
Exactly, you must read between because I am very, very sure if they have not thought about it, this is the time to start
thinking about it. We have BKO back on the line. BKO, I need you to land on your thoughts here.
Yes, I made the point that neither of the two dominant religions in our country can wipe out the other. So Trump and co should stop thinking that there is a desire to exterminate Christians from our country. And bandit attacks are meant to make money. It's just the desire of those guys to make money. They are not triggered by any ideology
at all.
A good number of them are animists. They are not Muslims, you know. So, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, so a good number of them are animists. They are not even Muslims, and they are not Christians. So, there is no desire, and no one can exterminate Christians from Nigeria. That is not going to happen. Sure. In a million years, it can't happen. So, but the pattern, these attacks, targeting Christian worship centers, we've seen it happen in Kogi. We've seen it happen in Kwara, usually along the border between Kwara and Kogi. And then we've seen it now happen in Kaduna State, in Kajuru, which is an area dominated by Christians. But it still doesn't mean that these attacks have religious correlation. It's just sheer opportunism on the part of the bandits. They've been targeting Christian clerics, they've been targeting Christian worship centers for so long because they know that ultimately ransom will be paid. And look at the idiots in Kogi who kidnapped the people at Ayetorokiri. They kept telling the residents, the traditional ruler, that look, we have no business with you, it is government. We want to talk to government because they believe that government will bring out the money and ransom will be paid, hefty ransom will be paid. So this is the thing. They know that once government gets involved, hefty ransom will be paid, either through third-party elements, but they believe that ransom will be paid. That's why when they do these things, when they go to attack schools, when they go to attack worship centers, they imagine that government will get involved because when there's so much outcry, government runs into panic mode and then they will find a way to negotiate. This is the reason they are carrying out these attacks. These attacks are not motivated by religion or religious differences. It's just an opportunity on their part to make money. And we are seeing attacks taking place in Sokoto and other places. Bello Tuji has active cells in Sokoto. Is actually from Zamfara. It's from Shinkafi local government in Zamfara. But he's very active in Sokoto state. And in Sokoto, where he's very active, the bulk of his victims are Muslims. An overwhelming majority of his victims are Muslims. We are seeing bandits moving now from Katsina into Kano that have been relatively peaceful. They are moving into border towns. The borders between Katsina and Kano. They are moving into Kano now. And who are the people that they are kidnapping? It is the Muslim. So I understand the concern of the Americans. It is valid. Christian communities, just like Muslim communities, need to be protected.
Yes.
But these guys also target remote communities. It is impossible to put soldiers on ground in every corner of our country. It's just not practicable. Even the largest army in the world cannot protect every inch, or every blade of grass in their country. So this is the thing. They deliberately target this area because they want to carry out their operations without resistance. And they know that it is in those remote communities where you don't have police stations, where there is little or no presence of government, that they can get away with this kind of attacks. So it is unfortunate, but it reinforces the need for our government to come up with a strategy. I just read now that there may be an all-out war against these people. We don't need to tell them. This is what I've talked about for years. There's no solution to this than a total war. A total war that kills them to the last man. What are we talking about? We've seen it done. It was done in Sri Lanka. It was done in Algeria. They crushed them. We know where their outdoors are. I personally have interviewed bandits at least on 2 occasions. People will remember the videos. I still interviewed bandits in January last year in Giwa local government area of Kaduna State. So if as a person, as a journalist, I know where bandits hibernate, where they stay, how can anybody highly placed in Nigerian security not know where they are?
Okay.
So it's a total war that we want. We don't want stories. It's a total war. We take the battle to them, we annihilate them. They are not bigger than the state. No man can be bigger than the state.
Yes. Okay, BK, I mean, just a last take, but can we realistically, win this fight against insecurity without state police?
Well, at the risk of saying a total no or yes, I think we need people who understand every terrain. When we talk of state police, we are not talking of a state police that is made up of only indigents.
Okay.
State police means people who live in those communities. For instance, if you talk of state police in Lagos now, it does not mean it has to be only Lagosians or Southwesterners. No. It means that there are people who have been, in Agege, for instance, there are people there who have been born there who have been there for 40 years. They were born there, they grew up there, and now you say state police, you say you will not recruit such a person. No, that's not. People should not understand what we mean by state police. State police means that you, in the community where you live, where you understand the terrain, this is what it will be. I don't think we can succeed without having state police. But at the same time, we also need people who on the community will also need to give information.
Okay.
The police now need to build confidence of people. Because when you have a state police and we have the same thing that we have now,
yes,
because there are some cases that in some community, this man is a criminal. But you are afraid to report to the police because if you go and report, the police, somebody will tell him that it was all that came and told us you are.
Okay.
So,
all right, gentlemen.
They need to rebuild the confidence of the populace.
All right, then. Let's move straight to